I don't know what to do and am afraid. My husband 20M and I 19F have been married for almost a year and dated for 2 years prior. We were best friends through high school. I found out he was cheating on me around 10/20/21. As a preface, I struggle with mental illness and have for a very long time. I have also been cheated on in nearly every relationship I've been in. Also, he is in the military. I didn't expect he would do it to me. When we got together, he made us both promise that we would break up with each other if we ever wanted to see someone else. He came up with the idea. I had bad feelings of him cheating on me for a few months before I found out, but I always thought I was just afraid from past relationships. In July 2021, there was a girl that was blowing his phone up. Non-stop messages. And I had a meltdown and confronted him, and his response was anger. I told myself I was crazy and tried to move on. A few weeks later I still couldn't shake the feeling, so I kept telling myself that if he lost his ring, it meant he was cheating on me. Then he lost his ring. I began having dreams of him cheating on me every night. I had no proof to go off of, so I didn't want to bring it up and start a fight. I tried to lightheartedly look at his phone. He was okay with it until I opened Snapchat. He took his phone, closed the app, and handed it back to me. I tried again, and then he took his phone and locked it, then zipped it in his pocket and walked away. In October, we closed on a house together. Shortly after that, I went to get his phone for him because it was ringing and we had a lot of important calls coming through after buying a house. By the time I got to his phone, it stopped ringing, and I unlocked it. I opened Snapchat and the girl I mentioned previously was recent on his list. So I opened the chat, and I saw her nudes. I was so rushed with emotion in that moment that I didn't look at anything else. I just went and threw his phone at him. I was really emotional, so everything that happened next gets blurry, but it was a long and drawn-out fight. I asked him lots of questions and he answered, but I later found out he was lying with all of his answers. I told him to go through and remove every girl in any app that he met through Tinder, that he dated, that he wanted to have time with, did have time with, or talk to. He sat and deleted so many people. It broke my heart, because I thought it was common sense to remove contact with people like that when you enter a new relationship, and we had been together for so long. The AP reached out to me with an apology. She knew he and I were married. He told her he could no longer talk to her when we got together. He made a fake Snapchat screenshot using an online template of me saying I wanted to see her nudes too, that I was in on it. He went through a lot of effort to get her naked. The affair was going on for around 4 months. He has struggled with a PRN addiction. I have found multiple NSFW chats and groups and videos saved on his phone, and he knew for a long time that this sort of thing bothered me. We worked on boundaries and talked a lot. We agreed that we could go through his stuff together and delete things that made me uncomfortable. I thought things were getting better. When going through his stuff with him, and deleting all of the NSFW items, everything was fine until it came to Discord. He snatched his phone from me and got angry. He said he would rather just deactivate his entire account. I was hurt that he used Discord for NSFW content so much that it was easier to deactivate it. I have suspicions that he didn't actually delete his account. I went through his phone a while before this happened, and I saw a lot of the content, but could not stomach seeing any more after a certain point. There were multiple messages of people from these NSFW channels trying to trade nudes with him, and he only asked age and gender. It hurt me so much. I tend to be non-confrontational, because of my childhood and relationship history. Trying to talk about problems has always ended up in fights and aggression towards me. So I get afraid. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know how to trust him again. I don't know how to feel comfortable in my own skin anymore. We are working on getting me a therapist and looking into couples therapy. But the process is taking a long time. I am afraid that my reaction to all of this is going to ruin us. I love him with everything in my being, and I've wanted to be with him since we were kids. How do I fix this? How do I not blame myself? What am I supposed to feel about his phone going off so much and him rarely checking it around me? He sleeps with his phone clenched in his hand or under him rather than on the charger most nights. How do I trust that anything he says or does has any meaning to it? I mean, he was buying us a house and still cheating on me. It hurts and I don't have anyone to talk to about it. I can't even talk to him about it, it just ends in a fight and he always says I'm trying to make him feel guilty. I'm so lonely in my own relationship, I just want things to work out and be okay again. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, your husband is emotionally abusive. He likely sought you out like a predator. BC he could sense you suffered from trauma and he's exploited you. He love-bombed you initially, but now that he's got you anchored in marriage, his true self is unmasked. The marriage is a fraud. I know that life has been hard on you, so you want to hold on to this. BC you felt you finally could be happy with someone. But he tricked you. And you can't fix him. His issues run deep and only if he wants to change and undergoes intensive rehab, will he ever get better. However, he's not even regretful or apologetic, let alone remorseful. You cannot reconcile with him unless you accept his abuse. This is not your fault. When someone mistreats you, it's on them, not you. Get rid of misplaced shame and do not suffer in silence. Consider betrayal trauma therapy and tell those in your life you can trust. You literally asked the universe for a sign, and when given to you, you looked away. Start listening to your intuition. It hasn't been wrong. And your intuition brought you to this sub. And I'd bet is telling you that he is no good and you need to leave him. Whatever reason you want to stay, it isn't a right one. Because love is a verb. His actions do not display that he respects, honors, or cherishes you. He doesn't love you. He's likely incapable of love. The man you first met was a mirage. If you don't read any of these articles, please at least read Why Does He Do That? Good luck. I hope you get yourself out of this situation. You literally have decades ahead of you, but still time is precious. Don't live another second in misery. And definitely before he traps you, a child, or gives you a sexually transmitted disease or infection. Please keep posting, this sub supports you. Op answer, thank you. I've saved all of these links on a notepad and I'll work through reading them all. I want to be angry that I'm being told this sort of thing over and over again because I love him, but I know There's truth to it somewhere. It just hurts. I'm sorry I don't have much else to say in response. Thank you for the resources. Redditor 2, not your fault. Hess not a good human. You're so young. I would leave him, because he likely will not change. Redditor 3, he can't do the phone thing after this. You have to get very, very clear about what you need to feel safe, consider it, and only consider yourself. Then, you have to be willing to walk away if he's not willing to meet those safety needs. That is the only possible option for anything to change, and it's still unlikely. He's hiding his phone cause he's not being honest yet. You know that. He's acting angry and hurt about transparency, cause he wants to get away with more. It is very hard once you are that close to a person to accept that they don't have integrity, and you are going to probably go back and forth. Trying to win him over, then angry, then seductive, then angry, then pleading. It's a roller coaster. If you can get mental health support, and get clear about needs, boundaries, consequences, that is the best option, but it may not work. Just my 2 cents, but read up on betrayal trauma if you need some help. If you can find a therapist who specializes in betrayal trauma, that's important. Op answer, I've never heard of betrayal trauma. I will look into it. Thank you for that. I wish it was easier to stand up for myself. I get overly emotional and it gets hard to communicate clearly. I'm relieved that I'm not the only one that sees his actions like that. It's very hard to validate my feelings towards it because it's me versus him. Thank you for showing me that it's not just my head getting to me there. Redditor 4, I was married at 18 and divorced not long after. Word to the wise, you are too young to be dealing with this BLLS it. Is it marriage to an abusive duck at 19 years old? Nope, you are not equipped, and I mean that in the most loving way possible. He's using the fact that you had a rough childhood to treat you like it. He's abusing you, period. Snatching his phone from you when you open a certain app to close it and hand it back to you? Lol, who does he think he is? If you continue this, your mental health will decline quickly. Damage will be done to you and you will spend years undoing it, and it's not ducking worth it. If he's in the US military, go on and get to reporting his ass for adultery to his higher up. It's illegal in the military, he deserves real consequences. Then you go and you call local divorce lawyers, you go on and take him for all he's got. Make sure you get proof first though. Screenshots, audio of him admitting speaking to other women and getting nudes, whatever you gotta do, you send that to a private email only you have access to. And you leave. Also, some more food for thought. Most of the military is a breeding ground for toxic masculinity, which is why so many abusers and cheats are in that line of work. At the minimum, he has no respect for you and does not love you, or even worse, he's a straight-up misogynist. Don't continue this. Emotional abuse more times than not leads to physical abuse. What makes it worse is he lied to that girl to obtain her nudes. Literally lied to her to make it seem okay. She has no reason to apologize at all. He holds all the blame. Kick him to the curb.